Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Let's Play Blasphemous, The Wounds of Eventide. Yes, I'm actually laying aside Elden Ring just for a little bit. Just for maybe an hour. Not for very long at all, really. So we can delve back into Custodia. We're near the end now. We are really near the end. There is not much left to do. If you remember last time round, we slew... what was her name? The Arch Saint. The one who loved the Twisted One. Who was the source of the Amanecidas. She was incredible. Now, if we drop off here... oh, look at this. This is fantastic. It's got such a... it has this feeling of, like, gigantism about it. It's so big. It kind of freaks you out when you see it. It's really strange. I can't even remember what that was originally. But I love the symbolism of it being in this sort of cobweb-strewn brain. A hollow skull that has a little saint sitting in it. I don't even know what to make of that, quite frankly. But yeah, pretty much everything from here on out is going to be quite epic. We've got a lot of big bosses to fight. A lot of really significant... oh, hello! Oh yeah, of course he'd be here.
Loudest.
Loudest, that was her name.
Oh, my Loudest.
Yeah, I know, right?
Have you been set free?
There's that term again, set free.
To the other side of the dream, now that you have served your sentence.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
will be at your side. Tell me that all of this waiting has not been in vain.
Oh man, can you imagine if he just stayed here? No, he actually does pass on. He actually does pass on to the other side of the dream. Quite what that means.
Happiness awaits me.
Does it, indeed? One wonders. One wonders if it's the kind of miracle, or it's the kind of metaphysics that has to inflict suffering and mutilation and atrocity of this kind to sustain itself. Then what could its ultimate end be, you know? One has to wonder, yeah? Well, that's that part of the DLC done. The Amanecidas are all finished. Now we've got something really big to do. Like, really fucking big. First of all, let's get some stuff out of the way. Gotta get rid of all the rosary ropes, so let's do that.
Now let my fingers tie a new mystery.
Okie dokie. And that's it for her.
Mysteries of your rosary are now complete. My task is complete, although my sins have now become unforgivable as a result.
What, because you helped me?
I do not know where I will go, but I am sure that it will not be to the other side of the dream.
Well, as we just discussed, that may not necessarily be a bad thing. We don't know what's on the other side of the dream, as it were. It could be awful.
Is being extinguished.
Given the nature of the miracle on this side, it's not an unfair assumption, is it really? Who knows, right? Who knows? There's a couple of little bits and pieces to tidy up. A few story arcs to wind up, and that is it. Oh, there's also a very, 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 very big monster that we need to kill. Which is probably, you know, some people regard it as the hardest boss in the game. I'm not so sure of that. I think the ossuary boss is harder, perhaps, in certain ways. It depends on what you mean, really. I mean, the boss we've got to kill, Sierpes, is just a giant endurance trial. It's so tanky, it takes so much bloody killing. It is so difficult to actually get any damage on it. But, yeah, there's a few other things we need to do first. There's parts of the sleeping canvases that we need to explore that we haven't yet. So let's go and do that, shall we? I do love the sleeping canvases. I wonder if they will ever sort of extend Custodia, what the next game will consist of. We just don't know. All we know is it is in production because Blasphemous did very, very, very well indeed. But for all we know, it could be a completely different mythology. It could be from a different part of this world, or a different part of the dreaming, you know? Or it could go the Dark Souls route, you know? It could be like another incarnation of this reality. You know, just as you've got Lordran, Drangleic, and Lothric, which are echoes of a common reality, but also significantly removed from one another. In the Dark Souls series. Maybe they'll go that way. Maybe we will actually get to see what's on the other side of the dream. Who knows? That would be interesting. But yeah, any sequel to Blasphemous, I'm sure, is going to sell well, just on the strength of this game. It is such a beautiful piece of work. I will also show you what lies behind the rose doors and whatnot. Anything to do here? No. We've bought everything from there, so nothing to tie up there. As I say, I'm not sure I am going to finish all of the trials beyond the rose portals, because I'm not a fan. They're sort of the fly in the ointment for me. They are one of the very, very, very few elements that I don't think should have been introduced into the game, or maybe should have been introduced differently from what they currently are. I just don't think they work, for me anyway. Now that one I've never figured out how to get. I've never figured out how to get that cherub. I'm sure there's a way. Of course there's a way. I'll figure it out. There's probably a way of dropping down from above, isn't there? Almost certainly, actually. Oh yeah, here we are. Kneecap of Sebastian, the puppeteer. Okay. Sebastian Wojah lived surrounded by puppets. To him, they were his family. His cries marked the night he disappeared into the flames of his theatre, exclaiming, "I forbid you to move." Oh, interesting. Are they suggesting that he's the creator of the puppets that we see throughout the art gallery? Those unkillable things. Perhaps, I don't know. But yes, there's also up here, we haven't done this yet. No secret walls or anything like that? No, we've got to come through from the other side. I mean, obviously anyone who's played Dark Souls, certainly Dark Souls 3, whenever they see paintings in one of this style of game, they get a very, very particular reaction. Okay, what have we got? Oh, Quicksilver! Oh, we can complete that story arc now as well! Yay! We can actually see a vile, repulsive old guy being born from the stomach of a young guy. Yay! Actually, I mean, I suppose I should put a kind of content warning here in this video. Anyone who has a problem, who has like a particular phobia of a pregnancy imagery and birth imagery, they may want to fast forward, because this is not going to be pleasant for them. It's not really pleasant for anyone. It's gross. Now, where is it? That's the nearest one, isn't it? That's the Quicksilver guy, just down there in the sewers. I just love the feeling of Custodia more than anything. It's one of those... Oh, hello.
Penitent one, full of clemency.
Full of clemency. That's a nice thing to call me. Thank you very much indeed. I'll take that. Thank you. But yeah, that sort of environmental storytelling that video games so often do so well. Custodia is very particular in that regard. Very particular. And it's just beautiful. I mean, they've done a great job. The world building is incredible. Oh... What have we got left? Is that it?
The bones thank you for your help.
I think that's it.
Virtuous penitent one. Bring the bones.
Oh no, there's one more, look.
And we will uncover the truth that they keep silent.
There's one more. I wonder where it is. Yeah, there's one just there that we haven't got. Bloody hell, I wonder where that could be. I mean, hunting that down is going to be like a needle in a haystack. It really is. I love the cistern. The notion that these sewers run all the way beneath Custodia and drain away all the dregs and filth of it, just beautiful. Hello, man.
With this quicksilver, I bless the mixture that will recover your spilled blood.
Oh dear. Not nice. Okay, the bile flasks are now at their ultimate state.
For your own sake, leave me alone. There is no need to think about what is about to happen.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that, man. I mean, I wonder what this is all about anyway. What is that thing that's being birthed from him? What does it mean, you know? And if we go back in now... Oh, it's so gross. And of course he's dead. I mean, is that like a version of him, or is it something else? Is it some new entity? Who knows? It's... God, the things that the Grievous Miracle actually does is... Oh, so repulsive. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it to bits. Right. Well, I suppose... There's a few things before we go and do CRPs. I'm going to go and have one more go at that arcade cabinet, the 8-bit version of Blasphemous, because I'm sure there's something fun at the end of that. It's bloody difficult. It is really bloody difficult, but I'm going to give it a go. If I can remember where it is. It's somewhere around here. It's somewhere in the desiccated system. Desecrated system. Why do I keep calling it the desiccated system? That's not the same thing. And what was desecrated about it? It's a cistern. It's hard to desecrate it any more than its function already does naturally. Here we are. This just makes me smile. I love the fact they put this in. 8-bit Blasphemous. I mean, look at this. Alcazar of Grief. They even put the little credit one in the corner. It's so sweet. It actually looks like a NES game. I mean, it looks like Castlevania, obviously. I mean, there are 1 or 2 more colours here than there would be in a normal NES game. Maybe 1 or 2. But it's still bloody good. Even the music. The music is so Castlevania. It's a nice little reference. What is that? What are the skulls? What are they for? I still haven't managed to figure that out. I mean, clearly you've got to get them all, right? I mean, that would be my guess. You've got to get every single one of them to complete the game properly. And all of those as well. Anyone who's played the original Castlevania way back when, which is of course one of Blasphemous's earliest ancestors, will just get such a buzz from this. I remember the very first one I played, the first Castlevania game I played, wasn't even the NES version, it was the god-awful Game Boy one. The terrible game. It really is generally regarded as one of the worst Castlevania games, that is. But I liked it when I was a kid, because it was the only one I'd ever played, right? I mean, it wasn't until, was it Aria of Sorrow? The first one that was sort of like the Metroidvania style? I believe it was Aria of Sorrow, which we've done on this channel, by the way. It's really good. Or was it Symphony of the Night? I think it was Symphony of the Night, wasn't it? And Aria of Sorrow came a little later. That was the Game Boy Advance one, I do believe, which is a stunner, by the way. Really good piece of work. I remember playing that on my Game Boy Advance back when I was at university. Alongside the likes of the remake of Super Metroid, the remake of the original Metroid, rather, which is an amazing game, and also Metroid Fusion. All Metroidvania-style games, of course. Apart from the Metroid ones, which are just Metroid-style games. It's interesting, when people say, like, Metroidvania, the Castlevania games that conform to that, they are just Metroid games in terms of their structure, with a sort of Castlevania skin on them. That's basically it. And as we've discussed, like the Metroid style games like Blasphemous, they're just beautiful. They are some of my favourite style of games ever made. And of course the really present day equivalents are things like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, etc., which have now evolved into Elden Ring, which is it's an open world style Metroidvania, which is wow, something very special indeed. I fucked this up completely, by the way, like completely. You need all your health going forward in this. You need to preserve as much health as possible because you ain't getting it back. I mean, even the timing of this resembles the original Castlevanias. It's quite clever. One of the things that made those games really tough was that the timing was just horrific. There are certainly areas in Castlevania 3, for example, which are just hideous in terms of their timing. And as for Castlevania 2, there are elements of Castlevania 2 I really, really like, but it's a son of a bitch of a game. We've all seen the Angry Video Game Nerd video about Castlevania 2, obviously. I kind of like it. I know that it's oblique and it's weirdly structured and it's strange, but I kind of like it for that. It's experimental. They didn't really know what they were doing with game design back then because video games were still very much a new medium at that point. So it was just Konami throwing shit at the wall to see what worked, right? They wanted to do something completely removed from the original Castlevania, and yeah, they kind of did that. It's impressive stuff. It could have worked, you know? There was every chance it could have worked with a little bit more refinement and just a few tweaks here and there. Unfortunately, well, we all know the result. As I say, I've got a soft spot for it. I like Castlevania 2, but I am not blind to its faults. Oh, fuck, there we go. I like the way it blows up. I like the way the penitent one goes boom. I think I might give that just one more try. Just one more go, because I've got lots of Tears of Atonement, so I may as well. It doesn't cost that much. You actually get them back by playing it, so, you know, may as well give it a go. I want to get as far as I can. I'm sure there's something nice at the end, but whether we'll see it or not, I don't really know. No secrets here. I love the little go arrow as well. That's very old school. That was the kind of thing that you got a lot in the arcade cabinets, certainly in sort of side-scrolling beat-em-ups and things like that. And a lot of home video games introduced that too. The one I always remember is Streets of Rage, of course, on the Mega Drive, which is a stunner. Stunner of a game. Still beautiful. I mean, still a really elegant, wonderful piece of work. With arguably one of the best soundtracks of that era. Certainly one of the most distinct. But yeah, home video gaming kind of adopted a lot from the arcade cabinets back then, because of course the arcades came first. So that was just the format. They talked about extra lives and continues as credits, for example, which of course they were in the arcade. You had to put in another coin for them to work, right? I mean, it is very much a Castlevania style game, this, but it also has elements of Ghouls and Ghosts about it too, which I really like. The treasure chests coming out of the floor, that's very Ghouls and Ghosts. And boy, howdy, if you want a real horror show of a game, or just one of the most difficult ever made, Ghouls and Ghosts is the one. Ghouls and Ghosts is the one. What a game that is. Woof. I mean, without cheating, I don't know how you complete Ghouls and Ghosts. I'm sure, you know, of course there are people who have done it, you know, who take it as a challenge to do so, but particularly Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the remake for the Super Nintendo, that one is an out-and-out bastard. You certainly get your money's worth in terms of longevity from that one. Meat! Lots of meat. I'm not sure you really want to be eating meat that's coming out of chests and things in like a dingy castle. any more than you want to be eating the meat that comes out of the walls in like the old Castlevania games. It's a bit weird. Is there nothing in there? That's weird. I mean, for me, I didn't have a NES growing up. They were kind of rare in the UK, the NES. Sega cornered the market back then in the UK. The Master System was much more common, as was the things like the Game Boy and the microcomputers, like the homegrown microcomputers, things like the Amiga, the C64, the Spectrum, etc. I never had a NES. I had a Master System, and I had a Commodore Amiga from this era. I mean, the Commodore Amiga was my very first computer, so by that point a NES looked a little bit old hat, to be perfectly honest. And as I say, they just weren't that popular in the UK. I knew a couple of people who had them. They were older than me for the most part. But even then, the NES just wasn't that common in the UK. Most people went for Sega. During the 16-bit era, like, the UK was one of Sega's biggest markets in the West. And I loved my Mega Drive, you know, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it. Thought it was an amazing computer. Had some of the most brilliant games on it. Streets of Rage, aforementioned, of course. Things like the Sonic games, like the 2D Sonic games from back in the day were incredible. I had Earthworm Jim for the Mega Drive way back when. That was a fantastic game. I remember getting that and being blown away by it. Like the graphics that were cartoon-like. You know, they looked like the animation from a cell animated cartoon, which was incredible at the time. But yeah, I had loads of stuff for my my Mega Drive. Some of which we've actually managed to play on this channel. I mean, there was the very strange side-scroller Wings of War, which my friend had, which I borrowed quite a lot when I was a kid. I also remember, like, there was a side-scrolling game, one of the lesser-known ones called Arrow Flash, which was a bit like, it was kind of like an R-Type clone, but it had the gimmick whereby you could transform the ship you were driving into like a mecha. It was really good. Really, really good piece of work. Oh, hello! I didn't know that was there. I'm going to have to remember that for the next time through. Do we have to get all of those skulls? Is that the thing? Is that the shtick? Well, this is as far as we've got thus far. Oh, the music's changed. There's nothing in here? I thought there might be. Oh, that's... Oh, lovely. Can't open the door or anything like that. Nope, don't think so. Oh, hello. Are you like the flea man? You are, aren't you? You're going to jump, aren't you, you bastard? Yep, you're a flea man. Yeah. I like the sort of purple coloration on him. Oh, hello. What are they? What do they do? Oh, are they like... They're Tears of Atonement, aren't they? Right, okay. Yeah, cool. Ha! Meat! I wonder how deep this goes. Like, how much of this is there? Is there like the equivalent of an entire game here? An entire 2D NES game? If so, that's impressive. That's interesting. Look, there's a way up there. Or a way down from there, I wonder. Anything? Ow! Shit! That was foolish of me. I thought that might be the case. Can I get that now? Oh, I can't. Oh, I've lost that. Damn it. I hope that wasn't essential. Sincerely hope that wasn't essential. But yeah, there were platformers like this on the Commodore Amiga. They were slightly different because the Amiga was more of a sort of UK Eurocentric computer, so it was more that style of platformer than this. This is more of a Japanese American style platformer. slightly different. I mean, one of the things that characterised Euro platformers is they didn't have levels in quite the same way. There was often this gimmick where you had to collect so many of a certain item to get out of the level. I always remember one of my favourites way back when was Robocod, James Pond 2, which was sponsored by a particular chocolate biscuit here in the UK called a penguin. And the whole shtick in the game was that you had to, on every level, you had to collect so many penguins to get out. We didn't think it was weird at the time, but like, oh fuck, well, that went well, didn't it? Conspicuous product placement was really was a thing back then with the Euro platformers. Another one was Zool, which made the transition over to like the consoles. That was designed to be a Sonic the Hedgehog style platformer on the Amiga. Didn't quite succeed in that regard. Okay, that's enough of the history lesson. Let's go and take on Sierpes, shall we? Even reaching Sierpes is difficult because you've got to go through this bloody gauntlet first. And it would be ideal if you can get through without taking any damage, because you're going to need every inch of health you've got, believe me. Sierpes is not an easy boss, but is definitely one of the most impressive. Okay, ladies and gents, hold on to your hats for this one. I'm telling you, this guy, he's impressive. Look in the background. Can you see it? Oh dear. Yeah. That's Sierpes. The biggest boss in Blasphemous. I mean, it's just so incredible. Fills the screen. I mean, literally a boss that fills the screen. He's more of an environmental hazard than an actual entity. But he's one of those weird bosses that when you abstract him down, he is not as tough as he seems to be. I think part of the challenge of Sierpes is that he freaks out the player because he's so big and he does so much. But once you get that, once you understand that, he's not that bad. He really is not that bad. It's the endurance trial of it more than anything. You can't afford to lose a great deal of health, certainly not on this first section of the fight. And as long as you learn his patterns, it's not that bad. But if he does catch you, he can catch you in like a combo that can just whittle your health down to nothing. Ew, that's gross. And of course the only vulnerable bit is that weird tongue that he's got. Or she, rather. I do believe Sierpes is a she. If you read the literature on it, the background, if I remember correctly. I love the implication that the real Sierpes is that tongue. Look, it's the souls that are caught in the tongue, yeah? I'm not quite sure what the monster itself is. Probably originally just like a sea serpent, right? But if you look, the golden eye is in its eye socket, look. That's what we want. Uh-oh. That attack you desperately want to avoid. Beautiful monster. I mean, I love snakes anyway. I've got a real thing for snakes. Love them to bits. Were it not for the fact that my dad is an ophidiophobe, really desperately frightened of them, I definitely have a snake as a pet. I think they're absolutely stunningly beautiful creatures. Uh-oh. Here we go. But it's also just gorgeously animated. Look at the ripples throughout the scales and the coils. It's amazing. Uh-oh. Second part of the fight. He's going to elevate us up and come in from the other side. When it comes in from the other side, it does different patterns of attack. And it's much more difficult to hit. Can you see the sword buried in the side of its face? Look. The best thing you can do here is be patient. If you try to attack willy-nilly when it's on that side, you will damage yourself, as I just did. That was silly damage. You don't want that. Just take your chances when it's on this side, when it's revealing the right right-hand eye, the golden one. That makes all the difference. I think that's part of the problem with CRPs, it's patience. I'm sure it is possible to do this much more aggressively than I'm doing it, but I find the defensive game really works well with it. You can hit it, but if it gives you the chance, like here for example, but don't be too greedy with it. I think that's the trick here. In that regard, again, it's very like certain Dark Souls bosses, yeah? There we go. It will always give you another chance, so it's a case of taking it easy, you know, and not getting impatient or freaked out by it. Which is easier said than done, I will admit. It is it's a big frightening snake. I get it. It's also figuring out exactly what can hurt you. So, CRPs itself, like the head, cannot hurt you unless it's opening its mouth. It's the teeth and the tongue that will hurt you. And even then, only when it's doing certain attacks, like that one. See, look, I'm right up against the mouth now, and it's not hurting me. But if it's doing its chomp attack, it will hurt me. It is just a case of getting your damage in where you can, and then dodging like a maniac. This is where he gives you the chance to do arguably the most damage. Also, you'll notice I'm not using my my hymn. That's because I'm waiting until right towards the end of the fight. Just in case we need it. It is very likely that it will have whittled down our bile flasks by that point. May as well get some damage in here if you can. I love the ship in the background, it's amazing. Oh, that was close. Played it a little bit too close there. But yeah, I'm not sure which one's harder, this one or the ossuary boss. They're difficult in different ways, I would say. This one, it's more the endurance trial. That makes it very, very tricky. The other one, the ossuary boss, it's difficult because it does so much damage so quickly. I like the way his teeth extend. That's brilliant. Beautiful creature. I mean, initially when I fought it, I thought that it had two heads, like one coming in from either side. But no, it's the same head. It's the same beastie. Just viewed from different perspectives. Ow, that was foolish of me. I should have dodged that. Ew. You see, that's a honey trap. It's trying to get you to go in to try and get some damage in, but the minute you do that, those things, those sort of like barbs of bone, they will do you mega damage. You will damage yourself like you wouldn't believe on them. It's not worth it. I also love the fact that he's got like the aspect of the storm about him. So his attacks are lightning based. Very, very cool. And later on he also does like a wind effect. He is controlling this storm. Whatever it is, it's sort of the source of the storm. It's almost like an ocean elemental in a way. It's very cool. We're nearly at the third phase of the fight, actually. Very nearly there. Which is the last one, and we're doing alright. In terms of our bile flasks and whatnot, we're doing okay. And we haven't even used the spell yet. But we will soon. We'll use it soon and then just wail on the damn thing. That's a nasty attack, because that is not very... It's not very telegraphed. Oh yes. Oh yes. We're doing well. Third phase. The hardest. There's the roof of the cavern, look. So this is the hardest phase in the fight, and it does become notably more difficult here. There's a lot more to dodge, there's a lot less chance to do damage. The attacks are quicker. So yeah, it is very, very difficult. And if you look at the rain, you can see the wind changing direction, and that pushes the penitent one all over the place. So you've got to be very, very aware of that as well. It is definitely the most epic fight in the game. There's no doubt in that. Oh, here we go again. Oh! Oh! There's also an element of luck now as well. Certain attacks, you just can't dodge them if the wind is blowing in a particular direction. You actually can't dodge them. So you desperately need to have a certain level of health when you get here. If you don't, you are going to die. Ouch. Like this one, for example. If the wind is blowing against you on that one, as it was there, it is going to hit you. There's just nothing you can do about it. You've just got to tank it, take it, and hope that you can recover from it. We are getting there. But even now, I mean, we've got him down to two of his health bars. It's still not a done deal. It's still not a done deal. This thing can still kill us. Ow, that was foolish damage. Shouldn't have taken that. Ooh, the wind is getting very violent now. I mean, I'm just awed by how gorgeous the monster is as well. It's so pretty. There isn't anything else like it in Blasphemous either. I mean, most of the other monsters in Blasphemous, most of the enemies, even most of the bosses are humanoid. They're human-based anyway. This thing is not. This thing is very animalistic, very bestial, and I love that. Absolutely love it. Ooh, see how quickly those spines come out? He's nearly done. Whoa! Ouch. You see, that's another point at which Sea Urpies can actually hurt you, when it closes its mouth. So you've got to be very careful about that. Ooh, that glowing blue eye. Very distressing, right? These things you've got to sort of preempt. They don't always fall in the same place. So you've got to sort of move the penitent one in such a manner that they fall where they are not going to hem him in. They're not going to pin him down. Because if you don't, what happens is one goes off, you get hit by it, the other goes off, you get hit by it. And then you just keep bouncing around between them, which is not ideal. Yeah, that is an amazing fight. We're more or less done at this point. I think it's more or less a done deal now. We've got enough health, we've got enough in the way of magic to take it down, so it will not be long. Which is why I'm taking a little bit of a gamble here. Trying to get some cheeky damage in while these things are flying around. I mean, that can often spell the end of this kind of battle, but... okay, fuck it! Goodbye, Sea Urpies! There we go. Oh! Oh shit! Of course, right? Yeah! Didn't expect the penitent one to end like that, did you? Of course you didn't. Requiem Aeternum. There we are. Beautiful, right? And now we have the other golden eye as well. Broken left eye of the traitor. And Echo and Shadow. New aspect available. Very nice. But I like my blue and gold. I've got to say. It reminds me of my Thousand Sons, you know, from Warhammer 40k, so... Yeah! Not so tough now, are you? Okay. Eyeball forged in gold, torn from the socket of a beast from the depths. The traitor was banished to this world, condemned to remember the truth he had dared to gaze upon. One of the eyes was delivered to the sea, and no more was heard of it. Oh, fuck. But the waters that engulfed it became the burial ground of any vessel that ventured to sail through them. Cool. I suppose. But yeah, we've got them both now. So that's what happened to them. Okay, a curse on you, a curse on your shadow beneath the dark waters that writhes around knotted in strange hieroglyphics, a curse on your white scales that reflect the pale light of our moons, a curse on the jewels that adorn your shapeless necks, and a curse on the eye, your golden eye that beckons to men and storms to die before you. That's beautiful. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's like the eye... Whether it found some sea creature and mutated it to become Sierpes, or whether it sort of became Sierpes in the ocean, it's hard to say. But there's suggestions of background for it, and I love that. I love it to bits. And who knows how long ago this was, of course, because that would have been when Echoes of Salt was an ocean. It's not anymore. It's a cavern, right? Right then, let's go give the eyes back, shall we?
The visage.
I know, man. Blah, 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 blah. We've heard that. Don't worry, I'll be quiet after this, I guarantee you. I mean, this is kind of like the very epitome of the game's name. What we're doing here is like the arch blasphemy. That and killing Escribar later on, of course. Hi! Yeah, sure, why not? Well, that's just creepy.
Even in this place, beneath so many floors, I am bedazzled.
Right?
But blessed be the light, whose intensity blinds.
I've got coffee, by the way.
Behind it lies always a seed of virtue. Find
Okay.
my other eye, O merciful penitent one.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it. Don't worry. Oh. That's kind of pretty and kind of disturbing at the same time.
My eyes. Now I can see this terrible place, this prison of what I am, and have been for so very long. Penitent one, listen carefully. In the most fervent souls, in the most devout hearts, lives the seed that lulls the consciousness and controls the will. They are the links of invisible chains that hail from remote, sacred, and forbidden places. From where the high wills dwell. I am going to give you that which I have been protecting since I was banished from the dream. Here, take it. This is the true heart of your guilty blade.
Oh. Oh.
This heart, you will awaken the true guilt of your sword, enabling you to pierce the hearts shrouded by the miracle's veil. Cast off the chains from the soul whose profession of faith, engraved on her helmet, is the truest, most righteous, and unwavering of all.
Right.
Soul of Chrysanta, of the rapt agony. And in this way, you will inflict the greatest of all wounds upon her. The wound to the soul
Oh.
of all wounds.
That's very interesting. I kind of like the way this new DLC is positioning the Penitent One in opposition to Chrysanta.
You will awaken, cast
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we've heard that. I thought you might say something different. Cool. Oh, the eyes follow you. That's creepy. Not sure I like that. Oof. Yes, very creepy indeed. Ugh. So we've got the true heart of the blade now, which I'd assume we need to use against, obviously against Chrysanta when we fight her, but also against Escribar. Interesting. I wonder what difference it makes then towards the end when we do fight Chrysanta. I mean, she's a tough boss.
Visit that time.
Blah, 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 blah. I thought he might say something different. He doesn't. Okay, let's have a look at this heart then. It should be interesting. Where are we? Apodictic heart of mea culpa, the true core of the guilty blade, hijacked before the very birth of the sword. It transforms the tool into a weapon that can challenge the intentions of the powers that created it, completing the blade forever. It increases the sword's strength, making it able to fulfill its true purpose. 4 was the number of the Father's greatest devotees, 4 who witnessed the first miracle, 4 who prayed before the young man who twisted and contorted as his joints took root in the towering tree, 4 who heard the 3 words uttered by the Father just before his last breath, 4 who admired how the knotted tree from which liquid gold flowed grew, 4 who were the witnesses to the first miracle, but only one of whom could see the miracle itself. He saw its form, fate, and origin, a divine trinity, the High Wills. Okay, so... Oh, the apodictic heart of mea culpa would unlock the final form of the sword, meaning it cannot be equipped with any other hearts. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe later, when we go and fight the final bosses, then we'll do it. Then we'll put the true core of the sword on, because you can't actually change it once you've done it, and we may need them. But beyond that, there isn't much else to do. We're pretty much done. Most of the story arcs are finished. The only thing I can think of are the rose doors. That's it now. I will give them a go. I will do as many of them as I can. If they get too frustrating, then I will not. Has he got anything different to say now? No. Because we know where the source of this all lies now, of course. We know that this is not necessarily complete bullshit, obviously. It is a genuine metaphysical thing, but the way it's been preconceived and mythologized is bullshit. Which is kind of interesting. Right, this is one of the hardest of the rose doors over here. I'll do as much of it as I can. But I promise nothing with regards to these, because they are so phenomenally frustrating. As I say, probably not the ideal element to add to a game like this. But hey ho. And the last one, I mean, I've actually in my current playthrough at home, I'm on the last of the rose doors now, and it's evil. I mean, it's so irritating. Most of it, I mean, yeah, there's luck involved. I mean, there's the skill involved, but most of it's bloody luck. You know, you just have to. The timing has to be correct. It has to be in a good mood at that point. Okay. Well then, my loves, when we come back, I will endeavour to do as many of these as I can. I make... Oh.
Strong again. Pray, help me retrieve the remaining shards.
Yeah, I will. Well, my loves, when we come back, we'll have a go at doing exactly that. Until then, bye-bye!